Welcome to Musical Menus. Today we're going to make spotted dick. Okay, come on, get it out of your system. Are we done? Are we done? Everyone done? Great. Right, today we're going to make spotted dick. Come on, keep laughing. I know, spotted is a really funny word. Come on, keep going. Are we done? Can we go? Right, today we're going to make spotted dick. Oh, for goodness sake. Spotted is not that funny a word. Right, while you're pulling yourself together, I'll give you a brief history on spotted dick. I've just typed it into my phone here. Oh, I might spotted dick recipe into my phone. Here it is. A spotted dick is an English steamed pudding from the 1800s, made in a ceramic bowl, tied with cloth and twine. Traditionally made with suet, which is, and I quote, a raw hard fat made from beef or mutton found around the loins and kidneys. Delicious. The word spotted refers to the use of sultanas or dried fruit, but the word dick is shrouded in mystery. One theory is that in the 1800s, a pudding was called a puddink. This was shortened to dink, and then subsequently to dick. Saucy. Okay, let's get started. Now, as you heard, the original recipe has suet in it, which is beef fat. Now, it's a bit hard to get these days, and to be quite honest, I don't really want to use it. So instead of that, I'm going to use butter. The best way to do this is to put it in the freezer overnight so you can grate it. I'm also going to up the fat level with a bit of sour cream. Now, the only other difference I've made to this recipe is instead of just putting sultanas in, I've actually cooked them in a bit of muscat. So they've plumped up and they're really beautiful and tasty. Basically, I'll put them in the saucepan with a cup full of muscat, let them boil for a while, and now I'm going to drain them off to use in the pudding. And that muscat that's been on the sultanas, I'll use that in the custard. For the batter, grate 250 grams of frozen butter and put it into a mixing bowl. Add 400 grams of self-raising flour and gently mix with your fingers to coat the butter. Add 150 grams of white sugar, a teaspoon of salt, and the zest of 1 lemon. Drain your sultanas and add them to the mix. Give it a stir to combine. Whisk 6 eggs with 1/3 cup of sour cream and 1/3 cup of milk. Add the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients and stir to combine. Seems like we've got the perfect weather for a steamed pudding today, nice and rainy. Now, to make a steamed pudding, you are going to need a little steaming tin. To prepare this, we need to rub the inside with some soft butter. And then sprinkle in some flour so it coats all the surface. That looks pretty good. Now, if you've done this properly, you will find that your spotted dick will slide out perfectly. Let's get it in the tin. Next, you need to smooth down the batter and place a piece of parchment paper on the top with some cuts cut in the top to let the steam out. Now this needs to steam for about 90 minutes. So what you're going to need is a pot big enough to put your tin in and something to bring the tin off the base of the pot. I just use this little ramekin because it's going to be fine in the pot. So we need to put that in the base of the pot and fill it with boiling water and then put our pudding inside. Pour in enough boiling water to cover the ramekin and place the tin inside with the lid on. Once the water is boiling, reduce to a simmer and let it steam for 90 minutes. Now you may need to check the water level every now and then, about every half hour, give it a check. If it looks like it's boiling a bit dry, just pour some more boiling water in the pot. Now it's traditional to serve with a spotted dick, a custard, but I'm going to make something slightly different, a sabayon. To make the sabayon, I'm going to use that beautiful muscat that I use to soak the sultanas. It's about 120 grams with 3 eggs and 120 grams of white sugar. Mix them up until they're all combined. Gently heat in a saucepan, stirring continuously until the sauce has thickened. Or you can just put it in your Thermomix and hit start.
Hello.
Hi Danielle, guess what?
What?
I made spotted dick.
Oh God. It's rather large.
Oh, thank you. Yes, it's a traditional recipe, steamed pudding, absolutely delicious.
You went traditional.
Yeah, of course. But what? Do you think you could do better, Miss Chef?
I know I could.
That sounds like a challenge to me.
I'm on my way over.
What? Oh, is that the door?
Right, let's do this.
Danielle, it's so exciting to have you in my kitchen at last.
you.
I've made this beautiful spotted dick, but apparently you can do better.
I reckon so.
Okay, well let's hear some ideas that you've got.
Okay, so I'm thinking let's go away from heavy steamed thing. Let's go light and fluffy genoise sponge with some beautiful whiskey infused creme pat in there, and then we'll make up a really sticky, jammy dried fig and raisin jam to go in there as well.
Sounds disgusting. Right, I'm sure it'll be okay. So why don't you get started? What do we need to do first?
So we're going to make, first we're going to make our creme pat.
Yep.
Then we're going to get our sponge in the oven.
Yep.
We'll make our jam, let it all cool, roll it up.
Okay.
And then eat it.
Fantastic. Now creme pat, that's really just fancy schmancy word for custard, isn't it?
Well, yeah, a thickened custard.
A thickened custard,
so...
right. Well, I'm going to leave you to it.
Okay.
I will go and eat the rest of my spotted dick.
Okay, so for my contemporary spotted dick today, I'm going to make a genoise sponge, a creme pat, and a lovely boozy jam to go inside. So first thing we're going to do is make our creme pat, which is fancy custard, thickened custard, okay? We're going to warm our milk first, and we're going to put a little bit of sugar in the milk to start that dissolving. Then we whisk our egg yolks with our remaining sugar and also a tablespoon of flour as well. Then we're going to pour our warmed milk over our egg yolks that have been whisked while the milk is still warm, and then we're going to put it back in the pan to continue to cook out and to thicken. And then once we taste it and we can't taste the flour anymore and it's the consistency that we want, then we're ready to use it. We'll cool it down and we'll put it aside to fill our sponge. By putting it on a tray, getting it as thin as possible and spreading it out, we're actually allowing it to cool a lot quicker. You could pop it in the fridge or the freezer, and if you're going to do so, what you want to do is put another layer of cling film on top so it doesn't actually get a skin. So next we're going to make our sponge, and this is quite a light sponge. We're doing what's called a genoise sponge, so minimal fat, lots of sugar, lots of eggs, a little bit of flour. We're going to cook it in a tray like this so we can actually roll it up to create our spotted dick. But what we need to do is get our egg yolks and whites whisked together until they've tripled in volume and they're light and fluffy. We're going to sprinkle in some sugar. So we'll check the consistency now. And we really want to make sure that we've got, it's like soft peaks is what we're after. And they should be beautiful and silky and have a bit of a gloss to them as well. If you really want to check, you want to check that there's no grittiness there, so that all the sugar should actually be dissolved at that point. So now we need to fold in our flour. You always want to sieve your flour and do it by thirds if you're adding flour to a mix. And then we're really gently folding this through. So we should lose a little bit of volume, but not too much. Otherwise we're going to have a pancake rather than a sponge.
If you end up making a pancake, does that mean I win?
Yes, possibly. Although I will fight you to the bitter end, Craig. Our mix is exactly where I want it to be now. And we're going to pour it into our lined tray. It's really important not to tap the bowl or pour the mix from up high, because otherwise we're going to end up with a flat sponge. And a really important thing when you're doing a sponge like this is to line your tin neatly. You don't want to have lots of overhang, because if you've got a fan-forced oven, the paper will actually blow onto the sponge and then you'll get uneven cooking. I'm too short for your oven, Craig. I feel this is sabotage. So I'm gonna grab my creme pat out of the freezer now, and we're going to check the consistency before we pull the sponge out of the oven. Perfect. It's actually set really beautifully at the moment, but what we'll do, we'll put it into a bowl, whip it up so we can spread it across our sponge evenly. Okay. And we're about to turn it out. Okay. Remove the paper. So now, I want to roll this like a sushi roll. Our boozy jam filling for our roulade today is made from dried figs and raisins, but you could use any dried fruits that you've actually got in the cupboard at home. What I've done is taken 1.5 cups of brown sugar, 2 cups of whiskey, and around about a cup and a half of your dried fruit. Pop them all in a saucepan and simmer really, really gently for a good 2 to 2.5 hours. And then you're going to end up with this lovely, sticky, glossy, awesome, disgustingly good jam. Which is also great on a cheese board as well, might I add. Blitz some of it up or finely chop it up if you like a little less texture, or you can leave the fruits whole because they'll actually just cook down and be really soft and luscious. All right, so our sponge is now nice and cool, and I've just got some cling film on the bench here. What I'm gonna do is get sugar everywhere because that's the only way to cook. We're gonna unroll this and we're going to lay down a glorious amount of creme pat. You know, just thinking about this, Craig, I'm a little concerned. I should have made this super boozy. So, you know, my jam has got lots of whiskey in it, but maybe with the creme pat, I should have put in some bourbon or some whiskey because, you know, get people drunk and they'll love anything. Let's set it on fire with bourbon. All right, so get a nice thin layer. Actually, no, don't worry about the thin layer. Let's get a nice thick layer of our lovely creme pat. And then our boozy fig and raisin jam is gonna go over the top. All right, so now using our cling film to help us, actually let's put a little bit more in there because why not? Okay. And now we will roll it up. And then let's actually set this in the fridge for about 15 to 20 minutes so that it has a chance to set, and then all those flavors are gonna mix in together as well. So when we cut it, we're gonna get booze-soaked sponge.
Danielle, that looks absolutely incredible. Shall we give it a go?
Let's do it.
Let's try. I'll try this in here. Oh, so ooey gooey. Well, I mean,
Hang on, give me a little bit of that again.
presentation-wise, you know, it's. I think you probably win, but taste-wise, they both taste amazing.
I think they're both incredible.
So I've just had a brilliant idea. Now I desperately need some new saucepans.
Okay.
Why don't we do a segment called Ask Danielle? Cue music. Wait a minute. Oh, there is no music, yeah. Ask Danielle, where we actually go out and you can tell me what the best type of saucepan for home use is.
Okay.
We could do knives, we could do all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Good idea?
Yeah, I think it's great.
Fantastic. If you like these videos, please subscribe on YouTube. Find me on Facebook and Instagram. There's only one thing left to do.
Keep eating.
Finish your spotted dick. Let's get in. It looks beautiful and moist. Come on. Oh, you go. You go.
Oh no.
It's really good.